everybody. How's it going? Angie Gonsalez here.
LaDonna Hale here.
Hey, we are so excited you guys are here with us today. We are kicking off the very first episode of the SalesSheros podcast, championing women in sales. LaDonna, we've been wanting to do this for quite some time.
We have, and I'm so excited that Angie really motivated me by just setting it up and getting it going. Sometimes you just have to jump off the ledge and go for it. We both are going to share a little bit about who we are, how long we've been in sales, why we want to do the podcast, and kind of what to expect over the year from this podcast. So I'm LaDonna, as Angie said, and Angie and I have been friends for a number of years. She used to work in a sales position alongside my oldest daughter, who is now 32 years old, which is super cool to me.
That's wild.
So yeah, I know we have a great friendship. We are in opposite worlds in the sales realm.
Yeah.
I sell for a manufacturer of flooring. Angie's in tech sales. So we bring a lot of kind of differences, and we'll both touch on that a bit, but we bring differences as far as what we've sold and what we sell. But we both have really aligned values in who we are as people, and you bring your person, your authenticity and who you are is what you bring to the sales field. And so that's why this felt really powerful for the two of us to do this together.
Yeah.
Sharing different insights, and we're just going to have fun as this
That's the whole thing
unfolds.
we've ever done through the years.
Yeah.
We've cried, we've screamed, all in the name of sales in some capacity.
Yeah, Angie and I have been to Greece together. We did a 10-day mastermind with a bunch of very high profile, wonderful people. I mean, we've been on a lot of adventures together, Tennessee together to a sales conference. So we also have done a lot of personal development and growth and learning together and separate. So both Angie and I'm a woman of God, and I just love life so much. We both really enjoy the outdoors and love travel. And so we'll showcase and share those things along the way. I'm blessed to have a supportive husband. I've got two amazing grown daughters. One is 32, one is 28. My oldest has 4 babies.
Oh my gosh,
so she
girl,
has.
you're a
I'm a grandma to 4 amazing little human beings and one 15-year-old. So ranging in age from 3 to 15, which is really cool. I know it's been fun to watch them. I mean, Angie's watched them come into the world and grow, and watched me change as a grandma, right? It brings a different perspective to who you are as a woman.
I
being
love
a grandma.
who you are. And I think that's why we gravitated to each other so well back in the day. And then we've kind of did this kind of growth together, not together, but alongside of each other. As far as our careers go, being moms and things of that nature, I mean, there's a lot of things we tackle on the daily that not very many people can understand. So I hope that people are going to see that through us sharing kind of a lot of things this year. So about our
agreed
stuff. Yeah.
Yes, I agree 100%. I'd rather be outside than inside. I love the outdoors. I like to ride bikes, just casual, like cruiser bike. I love to spend time on the river. I have a rescue dog, 5, who is very challenging.
His name is 5?
His name is 5. He's our 5. He's our 5th rescue.
Oh.
He's our 5th dog. So 5. My oldest daughter helped with his clever name. So 5 is over. I've had him, my husband and I have had him over a year, and he's been very challenging. He came with a whole set of different challenges at 5 months old than I was expecting. But we spend a lot of time on the river together, and just being outside in the mountains. We love to hike and to camp, and I love the hot springs.
Yeah,
I mean,
outside is definitely your thing for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I really just get fueled from being in the outdoors. I love the hot springs. That's at the top of my list to do often. I have one about an hour from one of my homes, and so I get up there as often as I can. And I really just as a woman in sales who started out in my earlier career as a single mom who was selling, I just have learned at this stage in my life. I'm 10 years sober. I celebrated my 10th year of sobriety when I
Wait, wait,
was on a
wait.
long road
We
trip
gotta
with Angie.
pause on just for 1 second, because I think it's only fitting that you're saying you're 10 years sober, that we share with the world what we
Yeah.
did on your 10th. Like, what was the thing that you were like, I don't know if I want to do that, and we powered through anyways, all the sugar. What did you do
Yeah.
on your 10th anniversary?
Yeah. I'm not a big sugar drinker. So Angie and I, we did a road trip to Florida, from Oregon to Florida. We went all the way across the US. And on my 10th year of sobriety, we hit the Florida bars and we did 10 mocktails. So we
Yes.
drank a ton of sugar and then had sugar hangovers.
Yeah.
It was so great. And you know, I think it's important to talk about this because Angie has a healthy relationship with alcohol and uses that when it works, like enjoys that piece of her life. And so you can get to a place in your life with your sobriety that that you can experience life and have a lot of fun
Yeah.
and not have it be something that's holding you back
Yeah.
as someone who doesn't drink. And there's a lot of pressure in the sales world to entertain, and
Oh,
alcohol is at the
totally.
forefront of entertainment. And so hopefully along the way I'll be able to share some inspiration and things that have worked for me to be able to power through that journey and have a healthy, fun, still sales career, and be able to, I'll share some of those pieces as we go along.
I'm
So Angie,
excited.
tell our listeners a
Ah,
little bit about who you
who
are.
am I? All right. Well, you guys, it's definitely, I'm going to start at the top. So I'm a mom. I am a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm a friend. I'm a colleague. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a corporate employee. I'm a real estate agent. But ultimately, at the end of my day, I'm a woman of God. I would not be where I am today without the faith that I have, the challenges I walked through, and a lot of reflection along the way. So, a little bit personal side of me is I love to laugh. I will be the silly one in this group, making the weird comments and not, trying to make you laugh. That's just who I am. I love candy stores. They literally make me feel five. And I honestly feel like everyone in the world would be happier if they all got massages, because it's so relaxing. If you have not gotten a massage, you need to go get one because it's so relaxing. And I think everyone needs to just kind of chill out sometimes. I am 51. I'm going to put it on the record starting this podcast off. And this is for the first time in my entire life. I have shifted my world for the sole purpose this year of making me happy. And I know that sounds, a lot of people are going to be like, that's really selfish. But I feel like we don't spend enough time on ourselves to be able to grow, nurture, heal, forgive, all the things we need to do in our lives to be able to be good stewards of other people and really showing up for ourselves, our friends, our colleagues, our work, for everything. So, yeah. So I'm super excited to share a little bit of who I will be throughout this year, the good, the bad, the ugly, with you all. So it'll be fun. I think it'll be fun. Are you a little nervous, LaDonna, about getting
I
out
mean,
there?
I I I don't know. I don't know if nervous is the right word. We've wanted to do it for so
Yeah.
long that a little bit. I mean, and we'll get in a flow, as we go. And I mean, I just think we have such we just do so well
Yeah.
back and forth. We're gonna have fun with this.
We
And
will have fun. Well, that
yeah,
actually leads me to think. So we've been kind of talking about sales, but how long have you been in sales?
yeah. So you talked about your age. I'm 52.
Woo! We look,
I
can
know
we
we
just
look good.
recap? We look amazing.
We look
We look
good.
really hard.
Woo, I'll toot our horn.
Right.
I have been in sales really 30 years, but I did sales without realizing I was doing sales early on. I had a retail sales position. I'm one of five children, and everyone's male in my family besides me. I don't have any sisters. I have all brothers.
Wow.
And so I feel like I was always kind of selling my position in my family
Yeah.
without realizing I was selling my position in my family. And I'm innately very good at the authentic selling,
Mhm.
which is going to be what we talk about a lot. And the people that we bring on will talk a lot about that. So I started in retail sales. I had my daughter at 20. I turned 20 when I had my first daughter, and I knew I would be single with her just based on what was happening in my relationship with her father. And so I went back to school. So I went to school for a few years, and then I decided to take a job as an office manager. And it was for a flooring store
Ooh,
that shortly after working as an office manager was needing to liquidate inventory because he was filing bankruptcy. And I have a friend that I was working with, Rocky, one of my biggest champions, the biggest champion of my sales career. He was one of the sales reps, and we were good friends. He was very supportive of me.
nice.
He really encouraged me after we did that kind of getting rid of inventory to pursue a career in sales, because he knew I was a single mom, and he knew
Yeah,
that that would be a method of me being able to provide a really steady, solid, uncapped income for my daughter and I. And so he championed me in the very beginning by encouraging me after seeing how good I was with people.
yeah,
And so that I went for it. I realized at that point I had in my mind that I didn't want to be a cheesy car salesman.
right.
And that was kind of what my idea of sales was. And really, it's helping people find that fill a need
Yeah,
that they have. And the more focused on that I stayed over my 30 years in sales, the more I earned, the more I helped people. And in my sales career, I've primarily been in the flooring industry. I have also done some medical sales, and I have also worked in the network marketing space and had some companies that I represented that I loved, some that I didn't love.
yeah,
We
I'm
chatted
with
about
you.
that, and Angie will share her story there too. And I'm currently working for a manufacturer that's privately held still, a flooring manufacturer, and I do commercial sales, and I'm a business development rep, but also I'm a sales rep. I run product through dealer base, and so I'm actually having to quote products and I'm having to sell products, but then I'm also doing relationship building and business development with like architects and design. So it's kind of a multifaceted
Yeah,
position. And so long story long, my sales career is over 30 years deep, and in a couple different fields, and I love it.
yeah.
I love what I do. I'm thankful. It's provided incredibly well for my family. And it just has given me the autonomy and freedom to be able to really help people with
Mhm.
products that I enjoy and
I
like.
love
And when I
that.
needed to make yeah, and when I've needed to make pivots, I mean, when you have a background and you do well, you can pretty much pivot to
Yeah,
anything. And so it's pretty like it doesn't I don't feel pigeonholed in
right.
what I do, which is really cool.
I love that. Good job.
Yeah, and what about you, Ange? How long have you been
Oh my
selling?
gosh. Okay. So let's I'm gonna take you all back. We're gonna go back to the 70s for just a little bit. So I started selling when I was a brownie, selling candies and nuts to the neighbors. Like that's not creepy at all, knocking on doors. Then I got into the 80s and I started selling candy bars, popcorn, coupon books for sports. I'm sure a lot of you guys did that
Uh-huh.
too. And it was probably when I was in high school when I realized doing all these fundraising things that I was pretty good at it. And I really liked the idea of working hard to sell something to someone that they wanted or needed, whatever I had to offer. But it was for an exchange for what I was wanting as well, whether it was a trip or to get on the team or, travel, whatever it was. And I really, that exchange of like, here's for you, here's for me, I realized I liked it and I love people. So for me, it was an absolute no brainer. Started at 14 working in a restaurant, but then, became a young mom at 24, started selling Tupperware, Pampered Chef to try to put food on the table. And that
Yeah.
multi-level marketing continued for quite a few years. Same point you mentioned, some amazingly great companies, some not so great companies, right? You learn the lessons along the way, but a lot of selling in there where, your paycheck is how hard you're going to work, right? And what's going to happen there. So
Mhm.
finally, fast forward to where I'm at today. I'm currently in cybersecurity industry, and I'm in sales, and I also carry a bag of products that I sell. And my territory is out of my state, so I cover 3 different states from where I actually reside, and so that can be a little challenging. So I'm excited to bring some of those topics up to on our podcast of how can you succeed your sales goals when you can't just go down to the local, golf course and hang out with your customers. But yeah, so I've also been in sales, not calculating my childhood, for over 30 years when I really start adding it
Yeah.
all up. And I'm super excited about helping people, and authentically selling, to your point. There have been times in my early 20s where I sold for not the purpose of my customer, but for the purpose of me. And my results reflected that. They were not good. So, learning how to pivot and sell for your customer and what they really need, and being able to walk away and say, no, this isn't going to be good for you. Like, these all take years to kind of get the ability to
Mhm.
do the skill set of that. But I'm excited we're going to talk about that on the podcast. So, why do you want to do this podcast in the first place? Let's dive into that.
Oh, Ange, thanks for asking that because I think it's so important to talk about this, right? Like, why do I want to do it? I have such a passion for helping people not walk for sharing my challenges in an effort to help other people overcome those things and not have to necessarily walk through those things.
Yeah.
So I just have this deep love for people. I think that we can help so many people just based on what you've helped me with and what I've helped you with over the last however many years of our friendship. I really want to be able to gift that with the world. And what better platform than a podcast? I mean, we have played with other
Mhm.
platforms. We've used social media for business to sell, and I just feel like this is a really great safe place for us to be able to gift our listeners with the knowledge that we have in the hopes that they may pick something up and take it or pick something up and leave it.
Right.
And like, I mean, we all have different insights and different views on things even when we're aligned. And so I really want to impact women in a really positive way. I have a strong desire to share how you can be authentic in sales and be not salesy and really get aligned in your priorities
Right.
to be able to have not I mean, I worked in like such a grind mode all the
Yeah.
time for a long time, and I've learned how to do this in a different way where I'm still putting the time in, but I've recognized that other priorities need my time,
Right.
like personal development and family time
Right.
and time with my core friend group to refuel so that when we come back to sales, we're more creative and we impact in a bigger way. So,
Right, because how many
helping
like, honestly, if you think about it, how many people in sales are grinding not 8 to 5? Because if you're a salary sales rep, you're working 8, 9, 10, 11 at night, and then you have to get up and do it the next day, and you cannot burn the candle that way. I mean,
yeah.
you can for a little while, right? I mean, and I'm not talking about you have a presentation you have to prepare for. I'm talking about the consistent grind that you were just mentioning. It's
Yeah. I mean, I did it and burned myself out, which is a big reason why alcohol became a problem in my life for a number of years. So I really want to be able to like share those trials, share those wins, really help other women, help single mamas, help men, because even though we're a podcast geared toward women,
yeah,
we have a lot of men I mean, my husband is phenomenal. He's also in sales now. So I have a lot of my boss is great.
right.
He's a man. Like we have a lot of supportive men around us also. So this is in no way, shape, or form going to be a platform that it's
Yeah,
only women, but this is for women. And we may at times have men on that have a strong voice in something that we feel is very aligned
right.
that can help other women. Really, I mean, sales has been a platform that has allowed me to have really uncapped income. It allowed me to pay off all my student loans as a single mom.
Yeah,
It allows me to travel and have flexibility. I've been able to put myself in a position that I got to pick the territory that I have and the company that I'm working for
right.
now based on my tenure and those performances. And so, just kind of sharing different different avenues of sales. Maybe someone's sitting in a sales job that isn't feeling quite right for them and they need to pivot to something else, and I just want to be that voice for other people to help them overcome that fear
Yeah.
and to find the means of being able to step out in their entrepreneurial spirit if that's something they want to do, starting their own business or starting something new. One thing I've never really been challenged by is the fear of taking action. I'm a very strong action
Yeah.
taker. I will take action on things sometimes that aren't
Sometimes
necessarily
too
meant for
fast.
me, too fast. And then I'm like, okay, that needs to pivot out,
Right.
which I would frankly rather try things and pivot something out
Yeah.
than stay stuck and stagnant. And so I just really want to be able to provide that fun and that knowledge and that insight and the skills to help women level up.
Yeah, I love that answer. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I think you and I both through the years, we've leaned on each other. To your point at the beginning of the podcast, we're not in the same industry, but being able
Yeah.
to lean on each other, we're still dealing with people on a daily basis and we're dealing with sometimes corporate policies that we don't agree with. So I think, to your point, we have that resource within each other to learn from that. So cool.
Yeah, it's been really powerful. And why do you want to do this, Ange?
All right. Well, I mean, we have been talking about this for a couple years, and I
Yeah.
think we, needed the time to kind of grow and go through ourselves too. But for me, I want to offer what was never offered to me when I first started selling. We didn't have resources like podcasts back when I was starting to sell to really build up the skill set and hone our skills. So I really want to align myself with women and men who just love to grind and serve others. And, that's why for me, it was a no brainer to partner with you on this one. I love watching people succeed and knowing that I had a little hand in helping or guiding because I've been able to share like you've seen me succeed off advice you've given me, and it's just such a beautiful relationship when you get to see that. So when people can hone their craft and trade, it's a cool thing. Through the years, I realized there really is a difference. I'm glad you brought up the male female aspect because there really is a difference between the way a male person sells and a female person sells. There's a lot of different differentiators, and it's not by choice. It's due to stereotypes and a lot of societal issues I think that we have. But it isn't a secret that women do have to have a different selling mindset to be able to compete with our male counterparts. I mean, that's just the facts, right? So, through the lessons I've learned, the good, the bad, the ugly, I just wanted to share that along the way. And I love that you brought up our male counterparts. I mean, I have a lot of the people that hopefully will listen to this, they're going to know who they are because I'm constantly telling my male counterparts, like, I leveled up because of you and your help and your support and your guidance and your mentorship. So, a lot of this podcast, I'm excited to share the men that have lifted us up along the way and continue to guide us today, a lot of the tips and tricks. So, yeah, I realized towards the end of us really deciding to do this and really reflecting that I finally can say that I do have something to offer and I am good at what I do. And owning that personally takes a lot of courage to put that out. We say things like that at home to ourselves. Like, I can call you up and be like, I know what I'm doing. Like, I know this is going to work. But when you really put it out to the world, like, I am good at what I do and I do have my customer's best interest at heart and can be loyal to my company and still be a good colleague, right? That sales journey is what I'm excited to share with other people. So, yeah, we're kind of on the same page, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, I love that, and I'm really excited to be doing with this with you. I'm excited to be championing women in sales with our podcast to provide insight, guidance, tips, tricks. We'll have guest speakers on, like we talked about. And do you want to kind of just recap
Yeah.
for us, like what you're feeling
Yeah.
and
So
like
you
how
guys,
you're feeling?
yeah, totally. We'll wrap this up. We want to make this first one short and sweet to the point. We're kicking off a new year. We're kicking off our podcast. No matter where you are in your sales journey, what industry you're in, how old you are, sales is sales, and trust us, it's not for everyone. And that's okay if it's not for you. You still might get some tips from this podcast, maybe, you know.
Yeah.
Who knows? But this podcast might not be for everyone, and we're okay with that. We are. gonna be here if you need us, and this is an outlet for us to get our knowledge out to the world. But a lot of our podcasts, like LaDonna mentioned, will be around differences, alignments, tips and tricks on how to even do sales. And it's a new year. People are freaking out on how to get their sales quota and where do I start. But I think the end of it is we've never really had platforms that really lift each other up. And really can help us along the way. And I think that's what we're here to do for other women out there in the workplace, and just kind of help where we can. So, yeah.
I love that. Keep soaring, SalesSheros.
Absolutely. So, unleash your sales superheroes, ladies and gents. And thank you for being through this first podcast with us, our first episode 1. We will have a lot of structure and routine as we go forward, but we just wanted to introduce ourselves and tell you who we are and kind of what our plan is. So we'll see you on the next one, right?
Bye.